What if I told you that the Canon R5C is a camera? Oh, you knew that already? Well, I bet you didn't know that it shoots both photos and videos. Oh, you did know that already? What if I told you that the Sony A7S3 is also a camera? Oh, you already knew that stuff too? Well, I bet you haven't seen other people on YouTube compare these two cameras to each other. Are you f***ing kidding me? Well, either way, today we're gonna be comparing these two mirrorless monsters, the Canon R5C and the Sony A7S3, but you're gonna see some tests in this video that you definitely haven't seen in other YouTube videos. What's even better than that is today I will be joined by my precious, beautiful darling of a friend, Connor.
Hi, I'm Connor.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. Okay, so Connor, for our first epic camera test, we're talking about price. That's right off the bat, let's get the numbers out of the way. What are we working with?
So the Canon R5C comes in at a whopping $4,500.
Plus shipping and handling.
Whereas the Sony A7S III or FX3 comes in roughly at $3,500. FX3 is a little bit more.
And we're talking body only. This is no lenses or batteries or SD cards, none of that.
No fun.
Right off the bat, would you say that this is a win for Sony?
There's an argument for that, yeah.
For this next test, we're talking about ergonomics. Me and Connor have been cradling cameras since infancy, so we needed someone who knows just about nothing when it comes to cameras and life itself.
I'm Caden. I know nothing.
So what we're gonna do is hand him a camera while he's blindfolded, and he's gonna give us his honest review and thoughts on the ergonomics. Are you ready, Caden?
I'm ready.
Engage the blindfold. No peeking.
Nope.
Does that feel good?
Yes.
Okay. Caden, are you ready for camera number 1?
Yep.
Camera number 1 is now in your possession. How are you feeling? Give us your thoughts.
Oh, it's rather heavy. Ooh, there's a notch here under this button. I feel like I could click a lot of pics with this.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to camera number 2. Hand me that. Here is camera number 2.
Less of a grippy on my right hand here. I like the stipples on the last one. This one has a little bit of a middle finger grip. Like, you could definitely do some singular handage here. Button placement feels great. I could be very sweaty and this would never slip.
So you have to tell us the number of the camera. So you have to tell us the number of the camera that you thought felt the best.
Okay. I would say number 1. I liked the way number 1 felt. Number 1 felt like it had a pistol grip.
Okay.
And pistol is like a small cannon. So I'm gonna say that one was Canon.
He is wrong! That was the Sony A7S3.
Oh, it's the S3, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, that notch is nice.
Now you know the definitive ergonomics test. This is the only test that makes any sense on the internet. Thank you so much for your efforts, Caden Britton.
Anytime.
One of the coolest things about modern mirrorless tech is that we can now shoot high frame rate in high resolution without spending 20 grand on a cinema camera.
I can't even afford health insurance.
Well, brother, once you see all this slow motion footage, it'll cure all your diseases.
For this test, we're gonna be filming with both cameras in 4K at 120 frames per second, but we're not gonna tell you which one is which, so no cheating.
Now we are going to reveal which camera was which from that 4K 120p slow motion test. Camera 1 was the Sony A7S III, which makes camera 2 the R5C. Honestly, both cameras at 4K 120 look absolutely beautiful, so I think you can rest assured that no matter which one you're using, you're gonna get great slow motion.
Did you know one of the standout features with the Canon R5C is that it can shoot 8K RAW?
It's pretty impressive, brother.
Thank you. But the Sony is also capable of 4K 10-bit 422, which is also pretty cool.
And the Sony can shoot in ProRes RAW.
Does anyone really care about that?
Now, I don't mean to get political in this video, but camera menus do tend to get people a little bit riled up. So, to keep things civil, we've decided to turn the menu comparison into a pointless game. So I chose a random and obscure menu item from each camera system and forced Connor to find it while I timed him with a stopwatch. I know, it's cruel, but we do this for everybody back home. And for the sake of transparency, Connor does own a Canon R5, so we had him hunt for the menu item in the R5C's cinema menu, which is totally different from the photo menu. And for anybody who's curious, the R5C and the R5's photo menus are essentially identical. So we went the cinema route. Connor doesn't have too much experience in the Sony menus, so if you ask me, it's a fair fight. The first camera you are deep diving into the menus is for the Sony A7S III, and the menu item you are going to acquire is 4-channel audio monitoring. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Bing bong.
Oh, this is your menus. I probably shouldn't be in that one.
That doesn't count.
That's not legal. Dry motion, semi-station, street, display. No. Sound options. Oh, this has got to be it. Oh, yeah. Found it. 4-channel. Time.
Boom.
Time.
37.94. The setting you will be looking for is called Apply Peripheral Border.
Well, you at least use the setting someone would use.
3, 2, 1, go.
Apply a peripheral border. It goes apply peripheral border. So you go into here and you just keep moving until you find, there it is, boom, got it.
Are you serious? Damn, dude, 12.93. That means that Canon's menus are just straight up better, just from that one test.
And that's the cinema menus, which are arguably worse than the photo menus.
If any of you guys are out there like me and you shoot on Sony, make sure to switch. So this is pretty cool information. You're welcome. Most of you already know that the R5C is absolutely packing a 45 megapixel full frame sensor, while the Sony A7S III only has a 12 megapixel full frame sensor. So you might be asking, why the heck would you even compare the photo quality? Well, what you might not know about is there is a little trick in Photoshop's sleeve that can convert your 12 megapixel photos up to 48 megapixels. Hello, this is Editor Zach here with a new haircut and some information. I'm gonna show you guys how to upscale your photos in Photoshop really fast. Okay, so we have a 12 megapixel raw photo from the Sony A7S III of this random dude we met on the street while we were filming this video. So all I do to upscale it is right click and go open with, I need to click on other, and then go to Photoshop. Now it's gonna open up Camera Raw, which is what you want, it's gonna work. So right click on the photo in this window, go to Enhance, and then you click on Super Resolution if it isn't selected, and it's gonna double your image resolution. We're gonna click Enhance, give it some time down here to load. Okay, so this is our regular 12 megapixel version. This is our 48 megapixel version, which is freaking insane. And now we can choose if we want to open it as a copy or as an object in Photoshop. After that, it will also save it as an enhanced DNG. So you can click open in Photoshop, or you can just click done, and then it will save it either way in your folder here as an enhanced DNG, which you could throw in Lightroom and edit if you want, which is pretty sick. Do take note that the original 12 megapixel photo was only about 14 megabytes. The enhanced is 140. Here's the original 12 megapixel photo from the A7S III. You can see we're zooming in quite a bit. And we go to the enhanced, and you can tell it actually does look sharper, which is just wild to me. If you look at the original, it's very pixelated here. You can see all the bumps and the edges and stuff. And then you go over to the enhanced one, and it is using AI, but it is significantly sharper and appears more detailed. It's just cool to know that you can do this, especially if you have the A7S III and you want more resolution, you want a little bit more sharpness. So there you go, back to the video. Okay, so we're talking about the hybridity factor of these two cameras, using them with photo and video in tandem. So what's cool about the A7S III is it has this dial with 1, 2, 3 and a bunch of other crazy shit. I'm gonna put on screen what I have these dials set to, 1, 2, and 3. And then I have M as my photo mode. So I'm just gonna switch from 4K 24 to photo mode and see how quick I can take a photo, okay? So we're in video mode, and now I'm switching to manual. Took a photo. That was like 1 second, bro. That was sick. Very good. Let's try the other camera. So we're in video mode, and then now I'm gonna switch to photo, and you guys will hear when the shutter clicks. Okay, so we're in video, switch to photo. It says sensor cleaning in order to protect the shutter. Okay, it's switched over. I have a black screen, black screen. I'm seeing nothing, okay? Got a photo. It wasn't as terrible as I thought it was gonna be, but it's not instantaneous. And the likelihood of you switching from video to photo at a shoot like that, doing something wrong. Don't be doing that, okay? A little bit slower, but they're both fine. Last and definitely least, we're talking about video editing. And I think as one of Matt D'Avella's full-time video editors, I still don't know too much about this stuff. But let's just quickly go over how smoothly the footage played back on my poverty-stricken 2020 M1 MacBook Pro. You guys were right, I should have switched to DaVinci a long time ago. It's honestly so smooth and the footage plays back really well. Like even the 8K kind of plays back, the 8K RAW from the Canon. It's not perfect, but if this happened in Premiere, it would just, my computer would explode. So let's just play through these really high quality shots. So we got the 4K 24 from the R5C. These are all 10-bit codecs. The 4K 24 frames per second, 422 10-bit from the Sony. It's all playing back perfectly. Now let's try the 8K 24 from the R5C. It's playing back. It's dropping quite a few frames, as you can see. Oh, that shot's actually playing back totally fine. And then this last shot here is two shots stacked up next to each other. We have an 8K 24 and a 4K 24. Let's just see if it plays. I mean, it's playing back. It's obviously really choppy with the 8K and the 4K stacked on top of each other. Honestly, it's solid. So if you're editing in DaVinci or Final Cut, you probably have nothing to worry about with either one of these cameras. If you're editing in Premiere, I think it's not necessarily something to worry about with the cameras. It's more of like something you should look into with your mental health. I'm starting to go insane making this video, but here is a couple of fun facts of things that I definitely should have covered, but I just haven't had time. The first one is the ISO. I know a lot of people are probably gonna be wondering about that. Basically, the Sony is best if you're at 640 or 12,800. Those are the native ISOs on this camera, the one we're shooting on right now. Once you start to go above 640, it actually gets pretty gross pretty fast with the A7S III. So you really want to shoot within those native ISOs. With the R5C, you have a more gradual scale of ISO where it'll stay clean for longer, but the 12,800 on the A7S III is still gonna be like the elite high ISO camera in the market right now. So you can get great results with either. And I mean, it's kind of a rule of thumb to try to shoot native whenever you can anyway to get maximum dynamic range and less noise. Another thing, the autofocus on the R5C isn't very good. It's kind of surprising. It's not the same autofocus in video as the Canon R5. It's the cinema autofocus, which just doesn't track as well as Canon's autofocus does in their mirrorless cameras usually. I don't know why they wouldn't just put the mirrorless R5 autofocus system in the R5C. It's so weird to me. The photography performance is the exact same as the R5. It's really great. The autofocus on my Sony, even with a Sigma lens, is really good. So I think the Sony's better, but I'm sure there's other tests out there on the internet that will show this a lot more in depth, but I did want to mention it so I don't get slammed in the comments. So yeah. Since I don't know what the heck you're gonna be using one of these cameras for, I can't tell you which one to pick. But clearly we've learned that these are both reliable and solid photo video tools. Feel free to check out the Discord server we started. We're almost to 600 members and there's people in there literally from all over the globe, which is so crazy. So if you want to be a part of the Zachy Mayfam, there's a free link in the description. Also follow me on Instagram, even though the algorithm sucks butt cheeks, and and feel free to text me when you get home so I know you're safe because I love you. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Science.
Science rules. Bill.
Science.